Speaking of things that have possibly controversial brands, Pokemon Go, sweet, safe, loved.
What we've all been waiting for. Wait, no. That is not a good enough segue.
Okay,
Segue us from, you need to find a connection. You're ending the conversation. You got to go from Elon Musk tarnishing the Tesla brand into Saudi and Pokemon in an organic way.
Elon Musk needed buyers for a new venture where he was buying Tesla. He needed money to borrow for loans. Where did he go? The Saudi Royal Wealth Fund. They are the biggest purchaser other than Elon Musk of the Twitter buyout. They're also buying something new lately. Pokemon Go.
That was great. That was really good. I'm moving to your side.
That was amazing.
Pokemon Go, Niantic, is being sold to the Saudi Foreign Wealth Fund for actually, it's being sold to a gaming company owned by the Saudi Foreign Wealth Fund for $3.5 billion. What are your thoughts on that, gentlemen?
The sports washing continues.
The sport of
just
Pokemon
buying
Go.
the next major esport. Dude, I think it's so funny. My first reaction was, why? Because is Pokemon Go, is it just really successful and profitable? And
I heard it makes good money. Here's also, I got a little background. So Saudi Royal Wealth Fund, they buy everything. You guys, I mean, they've spent money on sports teams, on everything, esport, everything. They've done tons of purchases.
So is this like, real quick, is this like a government entity that buys all this stuff?
Yes.
And it's, okay, so it's public, or not public, but it's government owned.
Yeah, it's essentially government. It's public money. It's like they have this extra money from oil.
Yeah, I mean, they bought ESL, the company I used
to
work for.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, and I don't really know what's going on there. I just know all my friends who work in esports are now like, yeah, I got this offer to go work in Qatar for the World Series. I'm like, okay, that's cool. But it's all in the Middle East now.
So that's the idea.
They're making moves, dude. They bought ESL. They Jamal Khashoggi. They keep it real over there.
And they walked away and they said, just good business.
That's what
they have all this extra oil money and they want to invest it in things that are like future buzzwords, basically, whether it's EVs, whether it's esports, whatever. They want to have flashy, cool things that are, so when the oil money runs out, they've got all this business. That's the idea. And so they've been buying gaming companies is one thing. They bought the company that made Monopoly Go, and it turns out that made a mint. I don't know if you guys know Monopoly Go. It's not like Monopoly at all. It just looks like Monopoly, but it's like the greatest money extractor game of all time. Like it's got all the loot boxes and puzzles and everything, and they've been printing. That game is like one of the most profitable games ever.
Yeah, I worked in mobile games at EA, which is a beloved category.
Mobile games.
Oh, careful, he's a hero.
Yeah. So as the resident Elon Musk fan, I worked at EA on mobile games.
Dude, I'm so glad you're on this pod, dude. You're like the Winston in Overwatch for the comments.
Yeah. I'll take all of it. I literally was there when it was voted worst company in America. All right, and in the article for that they said it's mostly because of Doug. The guy sucks.
One guy.
Yeah, no, not a joke. And I did, and obviously I left. But so like mid-range. This is a decade ago. Mid-range mobile games make like $1 million a day. If you're talking like,
isn't it crazy?
That's mid-range. If you're talking about Clash of Clans, you're talking about tens of millions.
And that's day?
And then that's when they do a big drop. Like for example, Fortnite, you can make 50 to 150 million on a new skin.
Yeah.
Like when Fortnite was at its peak. So the numbers that you can get off microtransactions in mobile games are genuinely obscene.
And they cost so little to make.
Should
you know what I'm saying?
Buying digital items in video games.
You own so many CSGO knives. It's crazy. Your grandchildren will starve. You're a rich podcaster, and your grandchildren will starve because of your investment.
Grandchildren can sell them to the Saudis.
Look at it. Look at the butterfly knife. It spins. It's blue.
It's pretty blue. It's almost fully blue.
I'm with Aiden on this.
I did not really. I mean, I understood that mobile gaming in general is like the biggest chunk of the gaming market, revenue wise. That is still wild to hear.
Yeah.
I think the idea of, I was thinking earlier about when you first brought up the topic of people like the line in Saudi Arabia finally gets built, and you're playing Pokemon Go in the line. And it's just you and your friends walking down one long hallway catching Pokemon. You never turn left or right.
You guys don't know the line is a 5.
Because then if somebody's like, oh, guys, there's a Charizard, and it's at the end of the line. Like, there's only one.
We got to go all the way to
You got to go to the other end of the line.
500 miles.
It's
great shot.
It's just, yeah, I think the passing headline makes you think, is my initial reaction is like, why would you do this? but there's a larger cohesive strategy surely around this amount of money being spent.
Is it?
That's what I'd like to think.
I
don't
can
know.
wildly speculate.
I think
Yeah.
sometimes it feels like, the rate at which my familiarity with esports in particular makes me feel a little doubtful of like my own take, in the sense that it feels like they've overpaid for a lot of things. Like,
Yes.
you don't have to bring this level of spending to esports.
It is highly
to
irrational, yes.
get a lot of the hold that they wanted in the industry. And to a degree, I can kind of, it feels like flexing on like a geopolitical
Yeah, it does feel
scale.
like flexing.
Yeah.
You know, it feels like, is this worth $3.5 billion? Pokemon goes down from its peak. The people that are using it said if they change microtransactions, I'm gone. Now, people always say that, you don't know, but
Yeah.
like, if they try to make it,
Pokemon fans are not leaving. I'm sorry. Like, no, they've been abused for decades.
Boy Crow
they're
will
not.
keep on.
They're not going to go away. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it'll mean, but there's definitely a lot of pushback and like anger and fear from the community of like
From the Pokemon Go
from the
community.
Pokemon Go community, because they don't want to change anything. They want everything to
Yeah.
be. They do it all the time. They've been doing it for years and years and years.
Yeah.
They're worried about change.
What they said in the article was that they're focusing basically on AI, and I need to look more into it. And we can do this in the future. One thing I'd want to talk
Speculate.
about. Huh?
Speculate.
Pokemon Go AI?
Well, okay, I will speculate based on what I've read about AI gaming. So there's a push from some major companies, Microsoft being the biggest recently, who announced they have this new AI generative game that is trained on one of their games, and they're going to start using the Microsoft library to work on generative AI video games. I think this is incredibly far off in the future. I don't have a lot of faith that would ever. I'm pretty pro AI, and I have a very, very hard time seeing any of that ever manifesting in a way that people want to play or buy at all. But that is at least an explicit push. So in theory, what these guys are doing is saying, we're dropping the traditional video games. And they said this in the article, like they are focusing more on AI tech and AI games. So they're like, Pokemon Go, that's great. That's old news. That's human beings making things that other humans beings enjoy.
Yeah.
We're going to make a bunch of AI shitty game slop that nobody enjoys. If you believe that, that's what they think is the future, or at least, the big moonshot opportunity. And that's what they're going for.